In this episode, we've decided to talk about what we do in the winter because it's a common question. Everybody in the studio is busy. Everybody has a little bit of a different role. It's our opportunity to catch up and to do a little bit of planning. And this month, you're going to get to see what that looks like. We have a staff meeting once a week. Something will come up where we're like, oh, we really need to do X, Y, and Z, but it's not imminent. It's not critical right now. Let's put it on the winter list. So we have this winter list that grows all year long on our business organizational software. And then we sit down right after Christmas and we kind of like organize and prioritize that list. And we start to dig in and work through all of the things that we now have an opportunity to do. We do continue to work through designs. We have a handful of projects that we're looking at for 26 and 27. And we know that if we don't get ahead of some of the permitting and some of the planning, it's not going to be ready for a pool in the fall of 26, and it inevitably won't be ready for a party in May of 27. So we definitely have projects that we're working on to prepare for the year. During the wintertime, it's our opportunity to try to make ourselves better at what we do. If we don't take the time to organize and process them and then invest a little bit of effort, then it's harder during the season for us to be successful in the ways that we want and to produce the jobs that we would like to see. Well, we do take a break. We do get away and do a little ski trip. We have Friday afternoons off as much as possible. And we definitely take an opportunity for a little bit of healthy life in the entire staff. So one of my primary roles on the team is to redline drawings. When we get to a point where clients and designers are happy with what it generally looks like, we turn it into design documentation. And one of my roles is, as they work through those specifics, is to bring the project onto my desk and to edit, essentially. Just like writing a document and then having somebody proofread it, redlining is the proofreading of the creative process. Those go through another iteration with the redlining. And it is redlining. It's a drawing with red ink on it. Or in my case, I use a digital software to redline drawings and then go as a PDF into the client file. And then those drawings get edited and reproduced by the staff or the team here. And then very often it'll come back again. But the goal in general is to get it as close to accurate and buildable as possible so that we can pull permits and so that contractors know what to expect when they get into a job. And that's an important part of the design process, is this forward thinking on how things will be constructed so that it's affordable and fast, and we limit as many of our change orders and mistakes as possible. Lance's workflow this winter coincides with my redlining a little bit. You can see here he's working on some construction drawings. Lance also carries some of the responsibility in developing permits for Eagle, SCSC, and municipalities.
So I have been working on the Home Central project. This has gone through many different phases. We start with getting measurements on site, and James and I did that this past fall. Those get put into the computer and a base map is created. Now that we have really refined the backyard space and also pretty close to the layout of the dock and those pieces, it moves into permitting. And being on the St. Joseph River, which is a navigable waterway, it has heightened or extra processes for that. So the permit that we typically do is a joint permit. It combines state and federal regulations. We submit semi-lengthy information on grades, existing structures, kind of what's going on now, and then obviously what is proposed. Basically protecting the river from any sediments and wash-offs during the construction process. So once this permit is submitted, we will wait a few months. It takes the department some time to review the application, ask any questions that they have. Sometimes there's some changes that need to be made either in the application or the construction methods, mitigation, different things like that. And during that time, our team will move into construction documentation or construction details. So that'll be the next step that we move into this project. For now, I've been working through the Eagle website and getting everything uploaded so that we can get this permit rolling.
Lonnie carries the primary creative design load in the studio, and she has a handful of projects on her desk for the winter. But in addition to that, she is teaching a class on floral design at Andrews University.
Winter is really important planning season for us so that we get in the different contractor schedules, and clients who have a graduation party coming up at the end of May, can have their project done and ready for their party. The first thing that we do in our design process is charretting. A charrette is basically like a picture of the overall space, and it's one design concept. We explore all the different options from the get-go to come to what we feel is the best fit for the clients, their program, and their needs, and then the specific characteristics of the site. We'll often do 2, sometimes 3 different charrettes for a project. Then we bring it back to the table and we look at it. Did things translate how we had really envisioned? Some things work, some things don't. So then we kind of tweak it and fine tune it until we get to that first step where we're ready to present the first ideas to our clients. And then we're starting to do design documentation, which is drawing up how things are going to be built. So during the winter months, we tend to spend a lot of time on those kinds of details. Often in the winter, I'm trying to do, continuing ed or something like that, just because I have a little bit of extra time because I'm not managing projects that are going in. This year, the university where Garth teaches had some students who are interested in a floral design class, and I've had the fun opportunity of working at a florist in the past. I signed up to help them out with that. It's been a lot of fun. So I have 11 students, and we're just talking about a bunch of different topics. Floral design is actually just a great outlet to teach basic design elements and principles in general. Let's see, this next week we're going to do cluster and zoning bouquets, which is kind of a newer trend in floral design. It's become very popular, especially for weddings. We visited Kennecott Brothers, which is the wholesale provider that I use and where I get all my floral materials. Later in March, we're going to do a second field trip, and we're going to visit Terra Florist in St. Joe, which is where I worked and learned the art myself.
Next, we're going to take a look at Tobin's workload, where he's unpacking some orbs for a spring installation, working on an art installation designed for Krazel in downtown St. Joe, and taking some time to build out our new symbols for our CAD flow.
Hi, my name is Tobin. Part of my duties in the winter are to unpack things that we ordered for the spring and make sure they're all good. We just recently got these concrete orbs that we have to check and make sure they're not broken so that when springtime comes, they're ready to be installed and we don't end up getting to spring and realizing we need to order stuff again. Part of my winter work this year is we're doing a collaboration with Krazel Art Center in St. Joseph. They're moving one of their first sculptures they ever got called Goal Wave, and we are helping them by doing the plan for that new sculpture installation, getting it ready to go before the city to be approved. This is, a public project, so it's got to be approved by the city council before it can be actually installed. So part of that is we gave them 4 design options. They picked which one they liked the best, and now we're just working on getting it polished up and ready to go before the city so that hopefully it can be installed sometime in the near future. Part of getting Goal Wave ready is it's on a hill. So we've had to do a 3D model of the hill so that people can visualize what they're looking at. And because the sculpture Goal Wave that's going in is a lot smaller than the sculpture that's being moved out of the area, it helps us, utilize the space to the best of its capabilities so that we can best accent the sculpture. Another part of my work this winter is I'm assisting James with the new plant list. The software we use, Vectorworks, is allowing us to import our own plant lists. And part of this is we're having to do a unique symbol for every single plant. So James has provided me with a list of 300 plants. I'm pulling those plants in, assigning them a symbol, and then going through and making each of those symbols unique. This is going to help us have a really consistent look, very easy to read planting plans, and overall really just improve the quality of our planting design.
As you can see here, James is working on a 3D model for a spring installation of a project. Also, James is in charge of plants and has been building a comprehensive list of the plants that we use to match the symbols that Tobin's developing.
Hi, I'm James, and I'm a design associate here at RootBound. Our CAD software has recently gotten an update where you can put in your own Excel sheet with all the plants that you use and then give those plants specific symbols. So that way, when you are making a planting plan, you can always reuse the same plant symbol for the same plant and it will be accurate. So this winter, I have been working on putting together an Excel sheet with all the plants that we use. That includes the scientific name, the common name, the height and the width of the plants. So far, I have almost 300 plants that are in this Excel document, and those are not repeats. Those are all specific plants. This is also not all of the plants that we use. We decided that close to 300 is enough. We can always add more in the future. This is a good starting point to be at. So the reason why we do 3D models are two different reasons. So one, we do it for the client so that they have a better understanding of what the site will look like in real life. We do most of our plans just a top-down view, and that can be hard for clients to understand. For us, it's easy to understand because this is our whole job, but for people that aren't usually looking at a space that way, that can be confusing. We also do it because it helps us with our design. For this particular 3D model that I did, there are a lot of terrain changes. So while I was working on the 3D model, we actually realized that we didn't need as many steps as we originally had. To make the 3D model, we normally already have a base plan and then a charrette that we have put into the computer. From there, I take the walls for the house and try to get them to be the correct color and add a roof onto the house that looks accurate to what the roof looks like when we were there in person. From there, I add in all the hardscapes, so things like patios, stairs, deck. After that, I add in softscapes, so that includes the terrain and the grades that we got on site, as well as grades that we are intending to change. And then finally, I add in trees that are existing that we are intending to keep. And we also add in people to try to give the client an idea of what they would look like in this space. That is one of the things I've been doing in the winter.